Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for today's MobileCause webinar, 9 Ways to Up-Level Your Fundraising Event. We all know fundraising events are a necessity for nearly every nonprofit and can eat up a lot of time, money, and energy. That means you need to maximize return on your investment so you can continue to scale your organization and fight for your mission. No matter the size or type of your event, getting lost in the smaller details of planning means you might be missing bigger opportunities to raise bigger revenue. Well, we're here today to ensure you aren't missing out. Today's webinar will equip you with the smartest, most effective ways to raise more event revenue, plus the steps needed to put it all into action. Now, we want you to participate with us in today's discussion, and since you're here live with us today, we have a bonus worksheet for you. You can find it under the Handouts section on your control panel, so please feel free to download it and use it today or when you start planning your next fundraising event. We also want to encourage you to ask questions. So if you have questions about event fundraising and generating more revenue for your nonprofit, submit them in the questions box on your control panel. We'll take some time to answer them both during the webinar and at the end when we have a question and answer session with our experts. Now, we hope you enjoyed today's webinar, and as a quick reminder, we will be sending out the recording and the slides to all registrants afterwards. Now, today's webinar is presented by MobileCause. As a fundraising professional, you have a million responsibilities, limited resources, and the future of your cause riding on your efforts. Well, MobileCause provides easy-to-use, comprehensive fundraising solutions to streamline giving for both you and your donors. With MobileCause, you receive hands-on campaign creation and setup from an expert digital fundraising strategist, coupled with the industry's best customer support. MobileCause believes 100% of donations should go directly to your cause, which is why we don't charge any transaction fees and have the industry's lowest credit card processing fees. Discover how you can create unforgettable events, grow your mission, and raise more donations using less time and energy with MobileCause. Now let's meet today's panel of fundraising experts. Laurel Lane is an account manager at MobileCause, where she has worked with countless nonprofits to help grow their missions and inspire more giving through digital fundraising and donor engagement strategies. She advises and guides clients on implementing innovative technology and multi-channel strategies in order to surpass their organization's goals and continue doing the good work their mission calls for. Sarah Baker is a digital fundraising strategist with MobileCause, where she works one-on-one with nonprofits to maximize their fundraising campaign success. She is responsible for creating and managing fundraising campaigns that have resulted in 4 times more funds raised with supporting engagement strategy, including copy for emails, text messages, social media, forms, and landing pages, while ensuring the highest standards of branding and strategy for her clients. Sarah's work has enabled hundreds of MobileCause customers to successfully accelerate and increase their fundraising and engagement efforts. Now, we have a great agenda for you today, jam-packed with useful strategies and takeaways. Our speakers will explore the 9 expert ways to take your event fundraising to the next level, including the 2 places all nonprofits should be focusing their event efforts, ways to cultivate year-round attendees, and how to assemble a dedicated committee ready to inspire supporters. And then we'll jump into actionable creative tactics you can implement right away, from sponsorships and ticketing to table sales and innovative in-event tools that boost giving and generate more revenue for your nonprofit. So get ready for a really informative webinar. All right, so before we jump into the 9 ways to up-level your fundraising event, we do have a quick poll question for everyone. How successful was your last fundraising event? So let me launch this poll here. All right, should be in place. So how successful was your last fundraising event? Did you raise more than your goal? Did you hit your fundraising goal? Did you raise less than your goal? And have yet to hold a fundraising event? Always like to see those two. Again, so we're getting the questions coming in. All right. All right, looks like we're slowing down in responses. We'll give it another few seconds here. All right, looks like we've got most of you here, so we'll go ahead and close this poll. All right, so let's share those results. Interesting. So looks like the little majority of you have raised less than your goal, about equal on the hitting your goal or raising more than, and got a nice smattering of those who have yet to hold a fundraising event. So with that in mind, these are kind of interesting. Laurel, before you begin chatting with us about how nonprofits can take their fundraising to the next level, what do you think about these results? Are these in line with what you've seen?
Yeah, it is actually. I always see when speaking with my clients, as they first come on board with MobileCause, I see a lot of, our event is less and less year after year. So there's always the challenge for our clients to rotate this up, make it successful year after year.
That's great, and it is kind of great to see that like half of our group here has either hit or raised more than their goal. So it's always nice to see. All right, so with that, these are good insights here. So let's transition into 9 ways to level up your fundraising events. So at this point, take it away, Laura.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Scott. And hi, everyone. It's nice to meet you all virtually here. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I'm very excited to share some strategies with you as you prepare for your next event. And let's see if we can get the slides rotating. So let's rewind just a little bit here to your event last year or whenever your last event was. It's over, it's done. Congratulations. I know how much work goes into putting on an event. Of any size, it doesn't matter. So, of course, you want to take a moment to kind of catch your breath. But really, the time to get started on your next event is immediate, right away. One of the first things that my clients do after their event is over is, of course, thank all of their guests, donors, and sponsors for participating. This is key because you'll want to remind them of how important they are to you and what they mean to your mission. And you can do this through all of your communication channels like email, social media alerts, and even text communication. But you'll want to recap what was raised at your event and what their financial support means going forward. And as you provide this recap, open the door for future sponsorship opportunities by reaching out to past sponsors and even guests to pique their interest and what their involvement could mean. Keep in mind, while you are planning for your event, your sponsors will need to plan too. So as you reach out and ask for new and renewing sponsors for their support several months, maybe 4 to 6 months in advance of your next event, just so they can plan properly. Now, sponsorship and leadership gifts are the number one and number two most important places for you to focus your time and efforts in your planning. Bringing in larger donations through sponsors and leadership gifts will help you hit your goals before you even begin selling tickets. And this allows you to rely less fully on ticketing as a revenue generator, all while helping your nonprofit build long-term relationships with the larger donors. Leadership gifts can be from individuals, small groups, and or foundations. And not only can sponsorship and leadership gifts benefit your organization, but don't forget it benefits the sponsor too, as they want to be associated with a worthy cause. Now, a successful event can be measured in a few different ways, but one way to measure that success is converting your sponsors into larger financial supporters. That is a major win. Don't be afraid to propose to your sponsors to give more than they did the year before. Offer additional perks or exclusive benefits for upgrading their sponsor package. And meet with your sponsors in person and steward them with meaningful communications. You'll really want to connect with the local businesses in your community. Local businesses really benefit from a sponsorship. It not only enhances their brand within your community, but it also empowers them to feel that they're a part of improving their community and being a part of a larger positive mission. So whether they're sponsors, guests, or donors, it's important to continue to build and maintain that relationship year round. So, of course, as you're getting ready for your next event, you want to get your event committee personnel in place. Really spend some time thinking about who is best suited for each role to get the best results. For example, the fundraisers. Really, the key question for your fundraisers is: will their actions help your nonprofit raise more revenue at this event? That's the key question for them. Your operation manager, their main responsibilities are, they're going to include things like managing milestones and timelines, assigning and following up on to-dos, coordinating vendors and volunteers, setting up the event, breaking down at the venue, etc. And the marketing manager will need to create a fast and easy way for your supporters to get more information about your event. How do they purchase tickets? How can they become a sponsor? And you'll definitely want to have your marketing manager leverage, your existing communication channels. So email, social media, website, use technology, text to keywords, and text messaging to promote your event. And they will want to create a timeline to implement these engagement goals. So the marketing, so you're just ensuring that the marketing and the promotion will stay on track. Of course, your finance manager, that's the money man. They want to make sure that all of the efforts are producing the ROI. Very important for your events. Definitely want to think about when you are ready to start selling tickets for your event, how creative can you be with the different ticket packages you can offer? One of the things a lot of my clients do is they'll create tiered ticket levels that was really going to appeal to their audience at all different, giving levels. Offer special perks with the higher ticket purchases. Some of my clients offer things like special VIP seating, meet and greet with guest speakers, complimentary drinks, some complimentary raffle tickets. But you can also encourage your guests to buy their tickets as soon as possible. Promote that it's limited seating. event. There's only so much seating at a venue, and create some excitement and exclusivity. Offer some early bird pricing as an incentive as well. And set up some smaller pre-events for lower level support. You can do things like a pre-event cash bar or a appetizer only cocktail hour. And I recommend doing a meet and greet with the staff. That really can personalize that action for your attendees. I know how important it is for a nonprofit to have the opportunity to cultivate a relationship with the plus ones. Oftentimes, you'll have the contact information for the individual purchasing the tickets, but little or nothing about the actual guests they're bringing. And this is why I recommend, and I also have several clients that do this on their ticketing forms, is add an option to provide the names of their guests along with capturing their email addresses, possibly even a phone number, and along with food preferences and things like that. My clients don't wait until the event to communicate with the plus ones. They will start sending out email and text messages, anything relating to the event, any special announcements, information about keynote speakers, dress code, and of course, even event reminders. So along with tiered ticket packages to encourage your guests to bring as many additional friends and family, think also about offering special group discounts. You could do a 2-for-1 ticket price or offer a special rate for table purchases. Oh, this is a big one. Keep your fundraising goals visible. This is so important. Think of your event as the grand finale fireworks display that we see on the 4th of July. That is exactly what your event is. This is not the kickoff, but the grand finale. You have been working all year for this moment. So don't be shy about broadcasting your goals before your event. Almost every one of the clients I work with include options to make a donation before the event. You're setting the tone to your audience that their support is needed for your mission. At your event, be sure to use a live event thermometer so your attendees can see the progress towards your goal in real time. Be sure to give on-screen recognition to all of your donors who complete their gift right then and there, but give special recognition to donors that make a gift at a predetermined amount. This will motivate other attendees to give too. And, lastly, don't forget about your audience not at your event. Use your social media channels, go live, and do an ask. Just because someone isn't at your event doesn't mean that they can't be a part of the excitement. So everyone at your event knows you're a nonprofit. This is not a secret. So don't be afraid to make a firm ask. Keep your ask inspirational, make it fun, make it challenging, maybe create a little friendly competition between some of the attendees, but just avoid doing a soft ask. Start with the larger donation amounts first and then work your way down to the smaller ones. Be specific with your supporters and give them the details of what each giving level can provide. This makes their donation tangible. It creates that personal connection for your donor as they have that clear understanding of what their gift means. So some examples of how to make a donation tangible are, hey, $25 will buy shoes for 5 kids. $100 provides a week of groceries for a family. $500 pays for a mammogram to a breast cancer patient. These are all just some examples. Obviously, you'll want to be specific towards your mission, but definitely keep that ask specific. So really, no matter the size or type of event your organization puts on, I really hope that these 9 steps are helpful for you, maybe give a little inspiration, and that your next event is an absolute success. Thank you so much. Back to you, Scott.
Thanks, Laura, for all your expertise and know-how, and really showing us these insights on how nonprofits can raise more event revenue. So now, whether you're throwing a community bake sale or an annual gala, these are ideas that are sure to bring in big results. Now, as a quick reminder, if you have any questions, you can submit them into the question box on your control panel as we go along. And also, don't forget to download that handout in your control panel, or from the link that's in the chat. It is an interactive one, so uh, you can fill it out as we go along. So now let's turn it over to Sarah Baker so that we can learn more about some creative, actionable ideas to raise more revenue at your event, at your next event. So, okay, Sarah, over to you.
Thank you so much, Scott and Laurel. So now let's go into depth with some of the tips that Laurel shared to really see how we can raise more money at your next event. So Laurel spent some time talking about sponsorships. So now that we know that we need sponsorships, let's start thinking about the levels of the sponsorships. So how are you going to determine what your levels should be? You're going to want to start scaling these based on the size and reach of your nonprofit. So if you're a newer or smaller nonprofit, maybe you should set your sponsorship levels a bit lower, whereas larger and more established nonprofits can think about higher sponsorship levels. The next thing to do once you've determined the level of each sponsorship is to name them. So get creative and try to base the name off of your event or somehow relating to your organization and your cause. Now that we have our level and our name, we want to talk to our sponsors about what benefits they're going to get. So let them know where exactly they'll be able to see their logo, how they're going to be recognized throughout your event. Maybe this is in-event live announcements, printed onto your program, shared on your social media, or any other media promotions highlighting the event. Again, think about how your sponsors will benefit. You want to incentivize them. So that can be complimentary tables at your event, complimentary tickets, maybe a VIP hour, or like Laurel mentioned, a nice meet and greet with your board pre-event. Even easy things like just adding a couple extra bottles of wine on their table can be a great way to incentivize them to sign up to be your sponsor. So now that we've determined our levels and our names and all the benefits, we need to make sure that this is easy for your sponsors and potential sponsors to come find. So set up a nice online sponsorship form. Your sponsorship form, of course, will list your levels and your benefits, make it very easy for them to sign up to be a sponsor. As you have individuals and companies signing up to sponsor your event, add their company logo. This is a really great way to share with potential other sponsors and individuals whose company they'll be in when they're sponsoring your event, and also is another great benefit that you can offer to them. Now, when you're thinking about setting up your sponsorship online, you might be thinking, most of our sponsors from our previous event, they gave us checks, or maybe they asked to be invoiced and paid later. You can always set up an online form with a payment optional feature so that you're collecting all of their contact information, their company name, all in a nice online portal so that can easily be transferred into your CRM, your email database, and you don't have to read anyone's handwriting, but you're still collecting everything online and giving them the option to pay their sponsorship the way that they prefer. So now, of course, how are we going to secure these sponsors? So Laurel mentioned we want to have a dedicated committee, whether this is one individual for your nonprofit or your whole board. You need to have individuals involved who are going to be sharing out the link to your sponsorship form, maybe giving a sponsorship packet or mailing it out. An in-person presentation definitely can't hurt, especially to someone who's new to sponsoring your event, maybe even new to your organization in general. Of course, the first people that you're going to be contacting is anyone who has sponsored you in the past. To make sure that they want to sponsor you again, really emphasize thanking them and make it an invitation for them to sponsor you again. Of course, once you get your past sponsors and start reaching out to new local businesses, start thinking about who else might be interested. Maybe this is another nonprofit that might be interested in sponsoring your event. Or maybe you've been focused so much on businesses you haven't thought about individuals who may be interested in sponsoring. The next way to get people to sponsor is think about, hey, we have a local florist who's great and they're new and they want to get their name out there. Ask them to sponsor as your floral sponsor. They can put together your centerpieces, and it's a great way for them to advertise their business as well to a whole new audience to them. So of course, in addition to sponsors, we need guests at our event. So we need to have an easy way for our guests to buy tickets. So leading up to your event and before your save the date goes out, you want to set up a ticketing form. So a really easy way for your guests to purchase tickets to your event. So as soon as that save the date goes out, as soon as you start announcing the event on your website and your social media, make sure that you have a ticketing form on your website. So as soon as they hear about it, they can easily go buy tickets right away when they're the most motivated to support your nonprofit. In addition to having a nice online way for your guests to purchase their tickets, you can have keywords and short codes to have them text in tickets to buy their tickets and quickly get that ticket on their phone so that at their event they can check in using their QR code. These QR codes, of course, you want to also make sure that they're printable, easy to scan for your guests, and easy to scan for your event volunteers, so that they're really easy to check in, so that process is seamless. 71% of ticket buying is happening online. So again, give your guests the option to buy their ticket online. Even if you're sending a direct mail, save the date, put in a link to your website or even a QR code on your postcard that they can scan and get taken directly to your ticketing form. So of course, how are we going to ensure that guests are buying tickets to our event? Like Laurel mentioned earlier, you can add discount codes. So incentivize people to buy their tickets early with early bird discount codes or early bird pricing to really jumpstart your sales. Get people to buy tickets ahead of time so that you know way before your event how many guests you can expect. You can also, of course, use promotional codes to encourage attendance by groups or members. So maybe you want to offer a promo code for all of your board members or a promo code perhaps for some of those sponsors. This will give them a discounted ticket and maybe even make this a limited time. So there's only 2 weeks that they can use this promo code to get them to buy their tickets early and well ahead of your event. Anything that you can do that's going to create urgency and exclusivity around your event will really encourage people to buy their tickets early. So this might include limiting the number of tickets that you sell. So that could be maybe only the first 100 get early bird pricing, or of course, your venue can only hold so many people, so maybe you're limiting your ticketing to 200 attendees. Another option, of course, to really increase revenue is have tiered tickets. So have different benefits. That could be a VIP ticket that includes an hour cocktail hour before your event that includes appetizers and that meet and greet with your board. Any way that you can incentivize people to pay at different levels to get different benefits is really going to help you. So one of those tiers could always include the option of getting extra raffle tickets, but you can always just also sell those in addition to your tickets. So at the time that you're selling tickets, why not also offer the opportunity to enter your raffle early and maybe even have a special raffle ticket prize ahead of time. On your ticketing form, also think about adding the option to donate. So this can be for individuals who might not want to attend the event, but they just want to donate, or even just for people who want to donate ahead of time. So the night of your event, maybe they don't have to think about it. So another really creative way that I've seen some of my nonprofits that I work with sell tickets to their event is by working with table captains. So table captains are going to act as your event hosts, and this puts the responsibility onto the table captain to sell tickets. So each table captain is going to be in charge of a table and filling their seats at that table. So they may have to sell 8 to 10 tickets each to their friends and family and coworkers. This gives them the opportunity to promote the ticket sales to potential new donors and people who might not be familiar with your org, but might want to support your table captain. It gives them the opportunity to fundraise on your behalf and even encourages some friendly competition. So maybe if you're working with your board members, for example, as your table captains, they might have a shared pool of friends, so they'll have to compete with each other to see who will sit at whose table. So to make it easy for your table captains to sell tickets on behalf of your event and on your organization, you'll want to create branded fundraising page for each table captain. So each individual will have a page with their photo where they're going to be able to track and see results of how many tickets they've sold or how much money they've raised towards your event. And these pages, they'll be able to really get out to their friends and family easily by sharing links to their social media channels, using text keywords. So when they're in person with friends and family, they can have them text in to buy tickets or donate towards their table, leading up to and even during your event. So this can add, again, a little friendly layer of competition that can really help boost your overall event revenue. So you can think about doing different table sizes if you have someone who wants to be involved, but maybe they can't commit to selling 12 seats, but they could sell 4. So maybe offer small tables or even, again, focus on exclusivity and make this a VIP table. So you can even incentivize them by selling a VIP table where they can sit with the executive director of your nonprofit, or maybe one of the beneficiaries of your organization, or someone who's being recognized at the event. So what are the keys to having your table captain succeed in selling these tickets? So you want to give them all the tools that you have to give them a successful ticket selling experience. So of course, like we mentioned earlier, we want to create personal pages for them. So these pages will feature their picture and maybe even some information about them and how they're tied to your organization. And these pages, again, will have a unique link that they can share out to their social media to make it easy for you to track who's selling what tickets and who's going to be sitting where at your event. Give them that text keyword so they can really easily share that places where it's not as easy to share a link, like in person and on certain social media channels. Of course, in addition to setting up the pages for them, make it easy for your table captains by giving them some language for a unique call to action, helping them by helping set their goal, working with them to see how many seats they think they'll be able to sell. Throughout the selling process, of course, you can help encourage them to share on their social media, but also share their pages. Maybe take turns, have a little competition of who gets to be shared extra on your social media channel. Incentivize your table captains with exclusive benefits. So maybe the first table captain to sell out their entire table gets to choose the placement of their table or gets a couple extra bottles of champagne. Again, make it easy for them. Provide them with some communication and invitation templates so they stay on brand, and say the things that you want them to share out about your organization. But of course, give them some room to personalize it so they can really share their connection to your organization, what your organization has done for them, and why they want individuals to join them at your event. So of course, in addition to selling our sponsorships, selling tickets, at our event, we're going to be fundraising. So what can we do at the event to fundraise? Well, we can of course incorporate text to donate. So you can create a unique text to donate keyword that can be shared out leading up to, during, and even after your event. You can also, of course, offer giveaways and raffle tickets by having people text in. Other creative ideas are having people text in for a coupon, maybe texting in for some trivia. And the reason we're focusing so much here on having individuals text in is it's a really great way for you to collect phone numbers and contact information. So thinking back to our plus ones, these are individuals who are coming to our event who maybe haven't heard of our organization, or maybe they haven't donated before. So we might not have their contact information in our donor database. By getting their phone number through some of these various text options, we're going to be able to steward them and work on more storytelling to them to really get them involved in the organization. So much so next year, they'll buy their own ticket to your event and they'll bring a new plus one. So always creating a new pool of donors that you can work with and really get involved in your mission statement. Of course, once you have their phone numbers, the other really easy thing to do post-event is going to be sending out a thank you. Let them know how much money was raised from the event. Really let them know how they played a part in letting you raise that money, and then tell them what that money went to. So that might even be a few months later when the money raised from your event has gone back to the beneficiaries of your organization. Use that as a way to pop in again and communicate with these potential new donors and past event attendees. So we've talked to you about a lot of different things to do at your event. So we have sponsorships that we need to sell, we have tickets we need to sell, we need to involve table captains and start thinking of raffle tickets, we need to plan out all of the different benefits we're going to give away. It can get a little overwhelming. So I know that as a digital fundraising strategist, a lot of the clients that I work with, they feel overwhelmed at first too. So that's why we partner together and work together to create and set up all these pages. So it's my job to help take away some of that stress and be on the team for the event to start setting up those fundraising event pages, sponsorship forms, ticketing forms. And by doing this, I help my organizations focus more on the areas of managing the event that are harder for me to be involved in. So doing things like talking one-on-one with their sponsors. I give them the time back that they need to get on the phone by giving them that sponsorship form, creating some of the basic communication templates that they can share out with their table captains, making some last minute adjustments to our text to donate, email receipts, and thank you pages. That's kind of where I come in as a digital fundraising strategist, to support my clients. So if you're feeling overwhelmed by thinking about all that you have to do, just think about you can always, add to your team and have an extra resource to help you ensure that you have fundraising success at your next event. And I'm going to hand it back to you, Scott.
All right, thanks, Sarah. And I just want to give a big thank you to both Laurel and to Sarah for sharing really such valuable expertise with us today. So we hope that everyone here is just really super inspired and really ready to start planning their next great fundraising event. Now, before we go ahead and jump into our Q&A, let's take another quick poll. Just want to get a feel for the audience here. So let me go ahead and launch this out. Just be a real quick one. Here we go. All right. All right, seeing the numbers flying in. Great, great. All right, and we're slowing down a little. So, all right, thank you for your response on that. So, with that here, let's get into our question and answer. Let's answer some of those burning questions you've sent us. So, again, please feel free to submit any questions you have and anything you think of as we go along. So, okay, our first question. All right, so for Laurel. You mentioned making our fundraising appeals specific. What's the best way to do this? How many options should we provide? How do we know what should be the high and the low amount?
Oh, that's a great question. So, of course, you can probably have maybe 3 to 4 different, specific giving levels. And then remember, I mentioned making everything tangible. So, including that, hey, when you give $500, it does X, 250 does Y, etc. Of course, you can do that verbally in your ask, but it's also important to include it on things like your digital donation form. If you have pledge cards on the table as well, make sure you're placing it there too.
Okay, great. All right, next one here is for Sarah. I like the idea of table captains, but how do I go about finding them?
That's a great question too. Thanks, Scott. So of course, when you're thinking about table captains, you want to think about individuals who are really committed to your organization. So this could be potentially board members, very involved volunteers, past beneficiaries of your organization, and of course, even your own pool of friends and family. And don't discount your own nonprofit employees if you're a nonprofit with multiple employees. So you really just, again, want to think about who's committed to your organization and who will be easy for you to work with to ensure that the branding and language they use is going to be the most efficient and effective to get people to buy tickets to your event and hopefully also donate and support your cause.
Okay, I got a couple more table questions here. So, Sarah, let's see. Next one we have is it possible to set up a table captain page for an event where they just have to fill the tables and not sell the seats?
Oh, definitely. So, we talked a lot about selling tickets to your events, but some events are complimentary. So you can always create a page for your table captains or even just for any event that gives free tickets. This is a great place where you can, of course, offer the option to give a donation, but you can always give away or sell your free tickets while collecting very important guest and potential donor contact information.
Okay, great. And the other table question we have so far is if we sell tables to sponsors and let them fill their own tables, can they enter their guests for their seats as ticket holders?
Yeah, so that's a good question too. So again, this is another place where we can use basically a non-payment option. So this is just a form that you can provide, of course, to your sponsors to collect guest information and give them tickets as they find out who they want to invite or attend your event alongside them.
Okay, great. So next question here is for Laurel. We have some folks that want to have a mission-focused event. Others are focused more on having a good time. How do you address this piece?
Oh, well, mission focused, of course, is who or what are the beneficiaries of your mission. Um, so, for example, I attended an event. It is a rescue. Um, they had a number of puppies and adult dogs that were at the event just running around. It was so exciting. All of the animals at that particular event were available for adoption as well. So there was the asking to financially support the organization, but there you had the beneficiary of your gift right there in front of you or snuggling with you. So really that's, I think the best way is to drive that home of your mission is have your beneficiaries there. If your beneficiaries are not puppies, of course, have some of the individuals who your organization is providing, service for, make a speech and give a testimony about how the organization's impact on their life has been, dramatically improved.
Okay, let's see here. Oop, sorry there. Ah, missed the slides here. Okay, so next question is to Sarah. Let me see. Where did it go? Okay, so the next question is we currently do not charge to attend our fundraiser and rely on sponsorships to raise money. How would you recommend transitioning to a ticketed event gradually?
So, a great way that I've seen other nonprofits do something similar is starting out with a suggested donation amount per ticket. So, this gives your donors the option to, of course, still snag a ticket for your event without making a donation, but gives them that option in a suggested amount. So maybe you're going to start a little bit lower than you might later on, but give them that option by spelling it out specifically on the form and making it really easy. So this could be something as easy as saying suggested donation amount per ticket is $20 and giving a suggested amount of $20, $40, $60, etc. So it's really easy for them to complete that donation at the time of acquiring their ticket.
Okay, good. So it's a slightly different style here. So you mostly talked about like a formal event, but our event is a 5K. So Sarah, any suggestions for day of event fundraising?
Oh yeah, so there's of course a lot of ways to still incorporate some of the same tools that you might use at a gala at your 5K. So instead of having, people text in for free cocktail coupons, maybe have them text in to get a massage after the event or to get a Gatorade delivered to them at the finish line. You could, of course, still think about incorporating text to donate at the event. Have signs along the course of your 5K that tells them how to donate and maybe a little bit about your mission, or even create a moment after the 5K where you can incorporate a fundraising thermometer to show how much has been raised and have an opportunity to raise a little bit more during the finale of your 5K.
All right, and another concept of multi-level type of thing, Sarah. So should we mail out donation requests at all, or strictly only call potential sponsors and try to do an in-person meeting?
So my advice for these kinds of questions is always do multi-channel. So you're going to have some donors and some sponsors who prefer the direct mail. Some people prefer in person, some over the phone, some email. So what we really want to do is focus on meeting our donors and sponsors where they are. We're never going to completely get rid of our channels like direct mail and in person just because we have some great online options. But we are going to transition to a bigger focus on online. But again, focus on meeting people where they are.
Great response. Yeah. So Laurel, we've got one for you here. So question is, if you drop the ball on thanking past donors, what's a good way to re-engage them?
You know, that's a great question. It never hurts to go back. In fact, I would recommend doing this anyway. This goes back to what I was mentioning about that year-round communication to your supporters. You can still send out communication letting them know that, hey, since your donation of $100 at our event last year, this is what it's gone towards. So that's a way you can kind of backtrack and do that thank you. But really, most importantly, what's happening there is you're letting that supporter know where that donation went. By doing that type of communication, it also makes it really easy for you to and make sure you send them out an invite for the next event too.
All right, thanks so much. Well, so everyone, that's really all the time we have for today, I'm afraid. So at this point, I just want to say, hey, please email marketing@mobilecause.com if you have additional questions. If you're interested in learning more about MobileCause, possibly working with Laurel and Sarah, definitely fill out our post-webinar survey or visit www.mobilecause.com. And so with that, thank you again for attending today's webinar, and really good luck with your next event here. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.